Hello everyone, welcome to Speedy's Legos and Collectibles. Today we will be reviewing the 1/12 scale Vtoys MUSE action figure. I'm not sure where this is specifically from or if it's from any specific media or a property. I just got her because honestly she looks really cool. This is the packaging here. You can kind of see that it's authentic through this logo they've got going on here, this kind of iridescent Vtoys logo. Just standard kind of small square packaging here. Not a very big package, but it's nice. All of her accessories and stuff I already have laid out along with the figure itself. She does just come kind of sitting inside one of those standard plastic trays, just a couple of these, along with the instruction booklet taped below, as you can see here. Let's go over the actual figure itself first and the articulation. The figure itself is really cool, honestly. I mean, she looks really nice. Very clean paint application, kind of some cool robotic like numbers here. I think she's supposed to be like some type of android cyborg, I'm not sure. More numbers kind of on the arm here. Just these robotic details that carry down really nicely with this nice clean kind of shiny paint application. A lot of really cool paint detailing for kind of like maybe a bit of enhanced spine or electronic spine there. Just kind of gives cyberpunk vibes, if you will. And then honestly, the face is pretty cute. She has some kind of like anime eyes or something going on. So maybe she's from a property in that sphere, I'm not sure. The articulation is quite good. She can go up quite high. She's got kind of this hinging butterfly joint here, so a bit of movement, back and forth here, no issues. She does rotate at the bicep swivel, which is actually something else I did want to touch on. I'm not sure if this is intentional, but I did notice that right here at the bicep, you can actually disconnect her arm. I'm not sure if that's to replicate battle damage or something else, but it does come off. It doesn't give any issues when posing, as long as you don't pull on it too hard, but it is something that is there. It happens on both arms. I'm not sure why. Just kind of fits in there snugly. I haven't had any issues posing her or holding her accessories, but it is something worth mentioning. She does have past 90-degree elbow bend there, really good. Double jointed elbows, always love to see that. She does kind of have this glove fitting on her arm that can get in the way a little bit with moving her hands up or down, but you can still kind of move them a bit up or down on the kind of ball joint and hinge they have going on here. You can curl her hand. It does work better if you remove this. This actually can be removed. I just get very scared removing the pegs here because the hands are really small. So I always get a little bit suspicious, I would say, having to put pressure to kind of, I would say, push those hand pegs in. She does have a bit of an ab crunch, not super far in the actual abs itself. Full rotation though. You can do 360 if you want. And a bit more here. I was going to point out that her kind of waist area is split into two parts. So you do have the like upper abdomen here with around her chest and everything else, and this kind of separate belly area. So that does allow you to kind of manipulate it to bend in a little more, but it still doesn't help fully. And if you kind of bend her back aggressively after, you can kind of see that joint in there, so you always want to kind of correct that. For her legs, they can kick out quite well. She can do the splits very, very easily because this is kind of a soft, more rubbery piece right here at this connecting joint. She can kick forward without really any issues, kick up pretty high. She does have double jointed knees, bends really well, so poses quite nicely, I would say. A lot of ankle rocker and articulation here in the ankle. The only thing I would like to say is one of the biggest cons of this figure is maybe the fact that these kind of heel-like boots here can be a little hard to stand on her own. You usually will want to put her on some type of 1/12 figure stand. Otherwise, those heels are going to kind of give you issues when you're kind of standing her up and posing her there. Her head, she can look down pretty well. Look up, not so much, because this kind of thicker hair blocks her in the back. Can turn her head all the way around, side to side, no issues. I think that kind of covers all of the main articulation here. So we will move on to the accessories and kind of details. I would like to actually talk about the head here first. So head just pops off. And she does come with faceplates that can change out instead of your standard just swappable heads. And what you do is you kind of pull up and remove this hair piece here. You'll take this off, just pegs in there, set that down, and then you can remove the faceplate from the back. As you can see, it's got kind of this extra peg and a couple of other smaller pegs to kind of hold it all together to attach to that ball joint. And the cool thing about this figure is, in addition to having these pretty detailed facial expressions that look like they're kind of pulled right out of an anime, is that she does have movable eyeballs. So you can actually adjust these using this little tool that's included in the accessories. This can push into these little crosses here, and you can move the eyeballs around so she can kind of look whichever way you want her to. I find that to be a very nice feature. I always love when figures include that. I think it's lets them pose a lot more dynamically and kind of look a bit more lifelike. Moving on, she has a kind of, I would say, kind of a little bit confused, more serious, confused, kind of looking off like what's going on face. I didn't kind of touch on it too much, but the first face is kind of a serious, maybe a little bit angry, a little bit of furrowing in her brows there. The last face is kind of a happy, like smiled, happy, like relaxed face. So you do get a good variety between the serious, kind of confused, and then the happy face there. This is just something worth mentioning for a brief moment, but they do include an extra hand peg in case you, like I said, did damage those small hand pegs while changing out the hands. They are quite small and quite difficult, so that's definitely something I could see happening, you know, if you pull too hard, break those pegs. She does include a cape, which is quite nice. It's got these kind of plastic elements attached to it. Sadly, there's no wire running through the actual cape itself, but there is a wire running around the bottom. So if you wanted to pose this cape to kind of wrap it, fold it, however you want, it is going to hold those poses really well. So there's a wire that runs down here and all the way across the bottom here, but nothing running through the actual main part. But not too much an issue for me, but I do think it would have been a nice inclusion. Like I said, there's some kind of hard plastic elements here adding extra detail, and the cape does fit kind of quite snugly on this neck peg, so you kind of do have to wiggle it down a little bit to get it on there. But once it's on, I think it looks quite nice on the figure. I'll go ahead and put her face back together with the happy one, and we will get her set back up with that cape on her. So you just push the faceplate in, and then you're going to line this up, and you just kind of push it in here and snap them together like that. All done. Let's pop that back on her head here. I do think it looks maybe a bit better with the cape. I think capes are really cool, so kind of nice. Just lays nicely on her shoulders. Like I said, you can kind of fold these wires in however you want, whatever kind of look you want to go for, you know, pretty easy to do. She does include these two blades. Unfortunately, they are plastic, not metal, so you do need to be careful with these. They can be a bit fragile, but kind of just these cool, futuristic looking swords. She's got two of them. Another thing she includes is this kind of quiver. You can put the swords in here if you want. Like if you're trying to display it like that, you could slot the swords inside here. So I guess it can kind of work for either, but it is meant for these little arrows, and the arrows themselves are quite cool. They are metal, so they will not just break easily if you drop them and clumsy like I am. But they are metal, so, you know, a little bit pointy, actually quite sharp on the end, so do be careful with these. And they're really detailed, like the metal and the actual arrowhead. I mean, it just looks really nice. These nice gunmetal gray arrows, and they do fit inside the quiver. You can fill the quiver with the arrows if you so please. You can put a bunch of them in here. And they also can fit one arrow into this kind of front slot here. I guess you're kind of getting ready to draw, you know, arrow, whatever, however you want to pose it. But very nice addition here with the metal arrows and the quiver. The other thing that is included for the arrows, of course, is this very futuristic looking like compound bow. It doesn't have a bowstring attached to it, so I guess they leave that up to your imagination. But it is a nice plastic, you know, it's not metal, but it is a nice gunmetal gray plastic with these little blue accents, and yeah, I feel it's quite detailed, got kind of a little rangefinder. And, you know, when you're making her hold this, they do include the little kind of holder here for the arrow, so you can kind of set it in here. to really assist. So if you're holding it up with your hand, you know, see, it makes it a lot harder to fall out. So that's really nice for posing, you know, however you want to pose the arrows in here. Just make her hold it, and you can kind of put a relaxed grip on it with her hand. It's not going to fall out whenever you're putting her in any kind of crazy or shooting poses. As you can see, I can kind of move it around without any difficulties. So that is a really nice addition, having that little clip in there. For her hands, she does just kind of have these two open hands, standard, nice painted on details, little dots on the hands there. Just kind of relaxed, open hands. She does have already on the figure this kind of sword grabbing hand, can also be used to grab the bow, and this other like relaxed, very open fingered, relaxed hand here. She does have one for her right side, that also really relaxed hand. Maybe you'll use this to put the bow in a more relaxed position or holding the arrows. She does also contain for her right hand a like ready to shoot like bow position where she's holding those two fingers, and you can actually put the fins or the tip of the arrow, you can kind of put it in between the fingers like that, or you can kind of have it holding on to the actual arrow itself. Both fit really nicely. As you can see, literally fits like a glove. So lets you get some really cool kind of action ready poses there. She does not have the arrow fingers for her left side though. So her left side, she has this trigger finger, which she doesn't come with a gun, but I guess if you wanted to give her one, you do have the option because of that left trigger finger hand. She does also have a grabbing hand for her left side there, since I already have the right side one on. If I can just get this to focus here. My bad. I'm not the most apt at recording right now. And then she, of course, has these two standard fist hands here. Just standard balled up fist if you want to put her in some action poses or punching someone down. You know, just kind of standard stuff. Overall, I think it's a really nice figure. It poses well, and it has a lot of accessories. It's also not too expensive. It will only run you around 75 USD if you buy it from somewhere like 5K Toys. However, if you do opt to use something like Big Bad's Toy Store, it will be a little pricier as it is an imported figure that'll typically run you maybe around $120 USD. So that's my review. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good rest of your day, guys.